Hello, my name is Francesco Sanfilippo. I am a finance major at Columbia College, and I am currently in the transition between active duty military to retired disabled military status. And I'm going to talk about something very important to me that I have inadvertently gone through, and my experience has really opened my eyes to this issue, and I want to open your eyes to this issue as well. So, as I've discussed before, I have been injured in an active duty incident, and I spend about 5 days a week at the VA normally, on average. Sometimes having 3, 4, 5 appointments in a day. And this is where I really learned how lackluster our healthcare system for veterans can be. And I learned how timely care is important. Programs like the Veterans Choice Program are important because they allow timely care to veterans who maybe cannot get seen at the VA within a 30-day period. So if you need an appointment and there's no available appointment in 30 days, as of now, you have the right to go out on town. You will get a referral to find a doctor out on town that will allow you to go see them and get care because the VA is too booked. This program is running on limited funding, and it was originally funded with $10 billion, and an additional $2.1 billion was implemented into this program in 2017 to keep it going because of how essential it was, not only for the veterans, but for the VA as well. It was a very efficient use of money, an influx of money into the VA healthcare system where the infrastructure could not have provided that care for only $2.1 billion. And we'll get into more of the details later. But you must have a 30-day wait to apply for the Veterans Choice Program, or you live more than 40 miles away from the nearest VA medical facility. So let's talk about the effects that might occur and the effects that I have experienced personally not receiving timely care. First, let's talk about mental health. As someone who has struggled with mental health and a person with PTSD, I have firsthand experience how hard it is to actually get seen at the VA, and how hard it is to, if you're having an emergency, to get seen. The average wait for a mental health appointment this year was 26 days. And if I personally am having a rough week, because with PTSD and other mental health issues, they overlap, and I will get depressed, and I will have other issues just 1 week, maybe 1 week out of every 2 months, I'll have a bad week, and I need to get seen, I need to talk to someone. If I have to wait 26 days, you run the risk of veteran suicide, other people getting hurt, potential violent outbursts, and stuff like that can happen. According to the Journal for Rehab and Health, they say it's essential to preventing suicide and saving lives is getting seen in a timely manner in accordance with mental health. At the VA, for a new patient to be seen by a primary care doctor, your wait would be between 18 to 30 days on average. That's, if you have a cold, if you have a sinus infection, you have to wait a minimum of 18 days. 18 days to get seen. In the civilian world, that would not fly. The doctors would have no business, but lack of funding contributes to this. And the VA Choice clears up the backlog. The VA Choice program will has cleared and will continue to clear as long as it has funding, clear up the backlog of patients by allowing them to go get seen out in town, where it's cheaper for the government to provide money to get seen in the civilian sector because they all take Medicare anyways, cheaper to get them seen in the civilian sector than it is to provide new facilities and new doctors to give them care that they need. According to the American Board of Physician Specialties, the VA Choice Program helps to contribute to the overall lacking of doctors at the VA. And according to NPR.org, the VA has over 1,500 unfilled medical positions. So let's talk about the budget. In 2019, the requested budget, according to VA.gov, is $198 billion. To account for medical increase, and to give you some numbers to understanding that, in 2015, the budget for VA care was $160 billion, and that was 4% of federal spending. So just in 4 years, we have an increase from 160 to 198 billion, if that doesn't explain to you the cost of medical care. And in that time, we have had over 6 million patients, 9 million people eligible for VA care, 6 million of them came in for care, and we have over 84 million disabled veterans out there who are in need of care. We have a backlog of over 611,000 VA claims. And like I said before, over 1,400 positions empty at the VA. And a high turnover rate. The VA has trouble keeping its employees because the organization is strapped for money. The doctors are worked back to back to back to back to back patients. They have no downtime. Some of the doctors I've talked to don't even have lunches. They're stressed more than the normal doctor, and they're probably not compensated as well as the private sector. So let's get into the personal matters, my personal experience with the VA. So for orthopedic, I waited 27 days for an appointment and over 10 months to get surgery. And because of waiting 10 months, I have a list of issues that have gone on to my body, permanent damage to my body, because I waited so long to get taken care of. My shoulder tear turned into tendinitis across my entire back, shoulders, upper body, and my other arm, caused my other arm to tear, which I need to have surgery on, caused my bicep to rip off, shoulder dislocation, undiagnosed back problems that I have, we're still trying to figure out, neck problems, chronic headaches, the list goes on, all because it took 10 months to see doctors and properly diagnose my condition. For mental health, I have waited as long as 24 days, and I have, as active duty transitioning to retired, I have priority. So with priority to mental health, I'd wait 24 days on average for an appointment. For neurology, I waited over 30 days because I live in Chicago and we have the biggest VA facility in the Midwest, and we only have one neurology doctor because the VA cannot keep anyone in this position, and no one wants the job. So we have one neurologist doctor to take care of the entire Midwest, the entire state of Illinois' veterans. And we often have people coming from Michigan and other states. My brain injury specialist that I've seen, I waited over a month for because there's one in the entire region, and he flies out to come see you. For an MRI, I've waited anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks, and even then it's usually read by someone who's less than stellar at their job, and I have to go get 3, 4, 5, 6 opinions on that MRI to finally encounter a medical professional who either cares enough or knows their job well enough to properly read an MRI to get an accurate diagnosis. I also have a friend who has experienced permanent damage to her legs because of waiting so long. So in closing, the Veterans Choice Program allows veterans to get timely care, and the VA requires funding to ensure that veterans are taken care of in an appropriate amount of time. Petition your local representative for increased funding for the VA and take care of those who have sacrificed everything to take care of you. Thank you.